Welcome to the online course on how to organize a virtual hackathon around the Sustainable Development Goals and the concept of just transition. In the first section, you will be introduced to the Sustainable Development Goals, explaining their origin and what they are. And in the second section, you will be introduced to the concept of just transition, how it originated, and what it looks like today. So let's get started with the Sustainable Development Goals, which are abbreviated with SDGs. The virtual hackathons always respond to at least one of the Sustainable Development Goals. Sustainable Development Goals were born at the United Nations Conference on Sustainable Development in Rio de Janeiro in 2012, replacing the Millennium Development Goals, which started a global commitment in 2000. The objective was to produce a set of universal goals that meet the urgent environmental, political, and economic challenges facing our world. All 17 goals interconnect and influence one another. Thus, the success in one effect is a success in others as well. For example, achieving gender equality or better health helps remove poverty. And fostering peace and inclusive societies will reduce inequalities and help economies prosper. The SDGs have their implementation deadline until 2030. Science means access to knowledge and participation, and is essential to build democratic societies. The SDGs become extremely important here. They are unique in that they cover issues that affect us all, and they involve us to build a more sustainable, safer, more prosperous planet for all humanity and nature. This leads us to the concept of just transition. The concept of just transition originated in the 1990s from Northern American unions. Trade unionists understood just transition as a support program for workers who lost their jobs due to environmental protection policies. It is still widely understood as focused only on softening job losses in sectors such as coal. Ever since the climate crisis became more and more obvious, just transition is understood as a deliberate effort to plan for and invest in a transition from, for example, the coal sector to environmentally and socially sustainable jobs, sectors, and economies. In 2015, the UN's International Labour developed guidelines for a just transition with a systematic and holistic approach to sustainability. These guidelines include both measures to soften job losses and to produce new, green, and healthy jobs, communities, and sectors, referring to the broader meaning of the term described above. In this process, justice and equity must be sought in relation to the main concerns of global justice, such as, but not limited to, ethnicity, income, and gender, and adapted to the conditions of each territorial context. There are big challenges to achieve a just transition. On the one hand, workers need to be reskilled when transitioning to green energy sources, so that equity, fairness, social welfare, as well as the protection of nature are secured, and poverty is eradicated. On the other hand, many economic ecosystems and industries depend on fossil fuel energy sources, and they need to be included in the planning and implementation of this transition, so that eventually this transition towards zero-emission energies will be just and equitable for all living and non-living beings, people, communities, ecosystems, and the complexity of relations between each of them.